I started working at the Sheriff's Lab on Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, 1969.
Wow.
And they had me assigned to doing toxicology, looking for drugs in blood and urine samples. And at the time, there were all of 12 criminalists at the laboratory, and criminalists were expected to go out on crime scenes. And
What is a criminalist for people who don't know?
those are the forensic scientists, the scientists that work in the crime labs.
And for comparison, how many are there now?
200 to 300.
Wow. So back then there were only 12.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah. The notion was that at some point they would begin to take newbies out to crime scenes to get them trained. You know, this is not a subject that you learn how to do in college. If you're in a chemistry curriculum, they don't tell you how to collect evidence in a murder case. So I knew this was going to happen, and I was purposefully keeping a low key because I didn't feel like doing this. I had never seen a dead body up to that point, and I was a little skittish, to be honest with you, about my first encounter. Anyway, one day my number is up, and they tell me we're going out to a crime scene. You're coming with us, and no amount of complaints that I could raise was working. So there were two experienced people and myself. We hopped into a car and drove out to a little bedroom community in Redondo Beach, California. As we're getting closer, I said, what kind of case is this? And almost nonchalantly, one of them says to me, oh, it's an axe murder case. So I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, an axe murder case.
It's going to be a horror scene.
Yes. So we pull up, and the sheriff at the time wanted everybody to look spiffy, so we were in suits and ties and jackets. Nothing like you see in television right now, where you're wearing these hazmat suits and whatnot. We get out of the car, and we each had our toolkit in attaché cases. So we looked like business people, accountants or something,
Right.
walking up to this house to make a house call. And the first thing that struck me was that there was this homicide detective lieutenant standing outside. He was old school because he was wearing a fedora, and not too many people were still wearing fedoras by this is the early 70s, 70, 71. And he kind of looks us up and down, and I'll never forget, I remember the Jackie Gleason show, the way Jackie Gleason would kind of snarl at people, and he would say, and what do we have here? He says to us, oh, we're from the crime lab, three young-looking guys who definitely did not look like we belonged. So we go into the home, and what happened was I recall that in my mind time just slowed down. Everything was like in slow motion. We walked through this dim hallway into a living room area, and I noticed that there was a scuffle. A lamp had been knocked over, and the incandescent bulb was still lighted, so it had this eerie kind of soft white glow projecting around the room. And on the floor is this victim, and I'm looking at this, and my first reaction was, this is a mannequin. It can't be a former living person. It just, I couldn't wrap my brain around it. And she was a young woman in her 30s, had an axe sticking out of her forehead, with blood and brain material against the wall, from the splatter. And her eyes were open, and her hand was like in her mouth, and she just had this, to me, it looked like a look of horror about her, and I just, fixated on that. And that, I can conjure up that image now over 50 years later. It's something that sticks with you, and I'm sure that if you talk to any cop with a horrendous case, they'd have the same kind of experience. What happened was that this woman surprised a residential burglar who had broken into her house with a roofing axe, and there was a scuffle, and he killed her. In the afternoon, her teenage daughter, who was in junior high at the time, came home and found her mother. Must have been a
Terrible.
horrific sight for the kid, for this little girl. To this day, I have no idea whatever happened to that case. I don't know if it was solved or unsolved. It was just my very first murder case, and it just kind of sticks with me.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, for that to be the first dead body you see at a crime scene, to be one that shocking,
Right.
one that would stick with any investigator, even if they were seasoned.
Right.